bubbles, Andy. What a task.
Well, that was an interesting task. But I think bubbles deserve a bit more publicity.
And you won.
Well, yes, yeah, and that's the first thing I've won since I think the egg and spoon race in under 6 at school. So.
Well, you're a champion already then.
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, that's...
Just for people who are watching who might not understand what was happening there, you were filming about bubbles, but in a very certain style.
Yes. So the principle of Taskmaster is you get set these ludicrous tasks to do and then have a few minutes to come up with an idea and execute it. So that was also when we filmed it. It was really cold, and at the end of the day, so I could sort of sense the film crew thinking, "Can we just hurry this along a bit?"
Yeah,
it's a good point actually. Explaining what that was about, because people might have just been turning on thinking, "What on earth is happening?"
Yeah, exactly.
On BBC
There's
Breakfast.
a bubble advert on. Yeah.
Your current task is a tour which has been extended, which combines comedy and cricket. Which is your first love, comedy or cricket?
Well, my first love was cricket. That goes back to when I was about 6 or 7 years old, watching Ian Botham and David Gower on the telly. It's been my lifelong fascination. But I got into my working on Test Match Special, doing the stats via comedy when I sort of accidentally got into comedy in my 20s, and cricket sort of came through talking about comedy on my podcast. So. I think there's sort of certain similarities. I used to sort of see a club stand-up gig being like the opening session of a Test match, and there'd be times when it goes well and you're sort of 100 for 1 at lunch, and then there's other times where we're 43 for 8 with a couple of jokes in hospital. So I've always sort of analysed things through the prism of cricket.
And what's your match report so far?
My match on this tour, it's been good.
Oh,
I was here in Salford.
You're playing well.
So well enough. So I was here at the Lowry in Salford last night, and people laugh mostly in the right places, which is all you can ask for.
What is it about cricket and statistics? And because I mean, you're numbers mad about cricket, aren't you?
Yes, yeah. So I think the thing with cricket and statistics is obviously every ball creates a number, whether it's a 0 or a 1 or a wicket, whatever. So there's the whole story of the game, which is what keeps people fascinated by it. I think is the evolving narrative. You can sort of tell that story through numbers. So when I'm on the radio doing the stats, I sort of see my job as helping illustrate the narrative and bring to life what the commentators are saying. So every ball shifts the game on, and the stats can measure that. At the same time, you can enjoy it with almost ignoring the statistics. But I think because every ball has a statistical point compared with, say, football, where the stats are slightly contrived, other than goals, which is obviously the most important one. I think it's much more measurable, and you can sort of tell the story. Yeah,
it's perfect for the current era as well, isn't it? Where you can share data and all that sort of stuff. You see the thing in New Zealand over the weekend, the guy who got 5 wickets in 5 balls.
Yes, for the first time in almost 250 years of first-class cricket. And it's perfect for the modern age as well, because Test matches give you 5 days off from reality, which is something that is extremely precious in the world.
To do your number crunching.
Yeah, or if England are playing in Australia, 2 days off.
And you hit on an important point there, because we are reporting on really grim news quite a lot of the time. How important is it that there is something out there to distract us or take our minds off what's going on, make us smile?
Well, I think it's hugely important. Obviously, people find that in different places, not necessarily sport, but sport has always been very good for that. I mean, increasingly, politicians see sport as a vehicle for sort of, personal aggrandisement or making political points. And that's, as a sports fan, that's really irritating. I don't want to think about news and politics when I'm watching sport. We saw it with the Donald Trump sort of hijacking the Winter Olympic ice hockey, and I'm slightly concerned about the Men's Football World Cup this year and the Olympics in 2028 becoming highly politicized, because we're supposed to be that distraction from everything, and we can set aside your concerns about the world and watch people kicking or throwing a ball in an essentially fundamentally pointless manner.
Yes. But when you're doing the news quiz on Radio 4, you can't get away from the news, and yet the balance between what you can talk about, what you can report, and what you can joke about is a real tricky one, isn't it, sometimes?
Yes, and particularly in weeks when there's sort of big and fairly distressing global events happening, that's a challenge, and you have to be very delicate with it. But I do think generally there's a way of finding a comic angle, generally dealing with the politics. Obviously, you have to be respectful of the the sort of human suffering of these stories, but often there's sort of political angles. You can get some satire out of it, and I think just from talking to some listeners to the news, because people appreciate that. There's almost a catharsis of hearing some comedy about the big news stories of the week at the end of the week.
And I suppose the listener knows what they're going to get, don't they? They know the programme. They know they can avoid it if they're offended or whatever by what's happened this week.
It's sometimes a difficult balance to strike, but I hope we mostly make people laugh and don't anger people. But...
And at times, cricket can be a very, very serious business too, can't it? Particularly when England are losing.
Yes, I'm still getting over the Ashes trauma. I was with...
it's too soon to joke? Too soon?
It is much too soon, Sally, much too soon. Give it 10, 20 years, we can look back. But, it's been an interesting winter for England.
What's going on?
Well... This is a good question. In fact, in my show, there's an interactive bit in my stand-up show, where I sort of take requests from the audience, and I have this AI robot on stage solving the world's problems. And there's a lot of questions about the state of baseball and cricket and whether it's succeeded or failed, and it's both succeeded and failed. So I guess where it goes next is the interesting bit.
Let's find out from the AI robot. Andy, thank you so much for coming in. Great to see you. Andy's stand-up tour is called The Zaltzgeist 2026, a second thwack.